What is up, everybody? If you watched part one of my mud flap install, I guess you could call it a mud flap, or blocking some holes that Polaris didn't block. Um, I've got one side finished, and I do apologize for having to do stuff in parts like part one and part two, and stuff of that nature. I'm still working on getting camera equipment. I had a tripod come in like to just hold my phone, and it by the pictures it looked like it would hold it like 5 feet up in the air, and it held it like a foot off the ground. So sent that back, and with the prices of GoPros and stuff of that nature, I just can't see spending that much money right now. If I was, young and single and no kids and no wife and no house payments, car payments, blah 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 blah, then I could see spending it. But the way times are right now, the way prices are through the roof. I priced one the other day, a GoPro, and it was like $500, and I see $500 going somewhere else. Which, if you see in part one, which is why I like to fabricate stuff. So this is just kind of temporary, in case people are like, oh, well, you got zip ties up there, vibrating around, they'll end up breaking. What I'm going to end up doing is getting a small piece of aluminum angle and, utilize these holes already drilled so the angle will come down. And then I'll just utilize those holes and just put some small, like, I don't know, 10 millimeter nuts and washers and bolts in there. But it actually worked out pretty good. I did have to heat it up a little bit with my heat gun, but I was able to use these. Like I said, this one's new. I was able to use these, and it worked out pretty good. Had to make a little slot down here. Like I said in the first one, they charge $70 or $80 for this stuff, and I did it for $25. If you want to add in the zip ties, I did it for $25.15. Did have to make a notch right here. I just didn't want to cover that up because I know mud and dirt and stuff, it goes all the way around to the other side, and I like to be able to rinse that out sometimes because stuff does get in it. But it worked out pretty good. I was able to use, if you see down here, I was able to use that lower hole and put one of those little pop pins in there. Now, yeah, it doesn't seal right there completely, but it will stop 95% of stuff getting in there. And if I do say so myself, it actually looks really good. And they're not hard. Like I said, you already got a slot down there, and you just slide it over behind this. I think I overlaid it like an inch and a half to almost maybe an inch and 3/4, so I had some meat to get those in. Now those were kind of fun to get in there because it's the same thickness as this plastic, but they did go in, and they did uh, spread open when I pushed the lock pin in there. Now you see I've got this side off, and yeah, it does kind of look like butcher work. If you look at this one right here, it does kind of look like it's butchered. To me, it's not, because I'm sitting there cutting it on the ground with a little sawzall and a razor knife. But if you just look, if I can get a good, basically you slide it in behind there. And this one I didn't have to take so many pins out, just this pin right here. So once you work it down in there, it slides behind it, right? And on this one, of course, the second one went a whole lot easier because I spent more time on the first one. It will slide behind that. Give me just a second. So you slide it over, and you line up your notch down there for that little frame gusset brace or whatever you want to call it. And then again, make sure you notch that out. And this side already had a hole like drilled out, maybe for like a zip tie. Give her a little shove. And if you see, it just pops right in there. And for now, let's see, I'm gonna use this hole right here to put a zip tie in. But if you just stand back and look, it does not look that bad. I mean, it blends in perfect. Now on this side, both sides really, this side mainly, don't put it in there and drill those holes out while it's in place, cause your gas tank's right there. So of course, get you a little Sharpie and put in there. I don't think I'm gonna put one higher up on this side cause of the intake tube. I don't want it all like just up against it, and I don't really want to deform this plastic anymore. But yeah, I mean, just as simple as, I mean, and I'm holding a camera doing it, holding my phone. It slides in, and what's nice is it would be removable just like any other. Especially once I get that angle iron up there and I'm gonna use more of these. But again, it just slides in. Look, see, I said it was gonna slide in, and now the plastic got nervous. That's what it is, the plastic got nervous. All right, let's see here. Nothing ever goes exactly right the second or third time. All right, there we go. Now I'm done making y'all motion sick. You slide it down in there. Get behind your wire. Pull it over. Line everything up. And just kind of give it a push. Like I said, I didn't do it exactly like the other one, cause with this tube running behind it, it doesn't set exactly flush. But once you put a zip tie on there, and then I've already got these pre-drilled, and once you put those in, that's it. I think the whole thing, with literally making them off the whim and just using what I had around the house and reusing the little pins that Polaris provided, these right here, the extra ones, it worked out perfect. Now, as far as the one that's down low, like I showed you on the other side, of course you're not going to be able to do one right there because the gas tank is directly behind it. But I do not foresee that going anywhere. And then if you wanted to remove it, it's as simple as 3 pins and just pull it out. So hopefully, you know, I know there's some savvy enough people out there that could just simply go buy a sheet of plastic and make some of these. And like I said, that's good coverage. As far as the exhaust, I know the exhaust is right here. You know, it's a good 3 inches or so away. I might heat this up some more and get it in flat. But if not, I'm just going to get either some foil tape, like some heat tape, like I said in the first one, or if I can find me a piece of this aluminum heat shield, I might fold me a piece over right here. Just right here, about a, what do y'all say, 6 to 8 inch piece, because there's bar right here. So if I could go from here probably down to here, that should do it. Or I might get lucky enough and let it sit here and run, and if it gets hot enough, just push it in. But I don't foresee it causing any issues. Like I said, that's good coverage for the money that I spent. I mean, that's a, you know, 75% discount right there. Took me an hour to make it and put 2 of them in. I do get it to where when they're pre-made, you know, when stuff's pre-made, they make it to where the install is like 5 or 10 minutes. But it kind of takes the fun out of something like this, to where when you get done, you're like, you know what? That looks really good. And hopefully I showed somebody else how to do it, or maybe give them an idea, or encourage them and be like, hey, you know what? I can do that. And then, not to mention, out of the material I used, I still have a piece big enough to where if something happens, basically I've got a third one. I've got a backup. If it breaks, if it warps, like maybe if the exhaust gets a hold of it and warps it really bad before I put that heat tape on it. But yeah, like, subscribe. I'm still growing, of course. It's obvious with some of my videos and the quality of them. But I'm getting there. I'm getting better. I'm trying to bring footage to people, not just primarily on my ride. It's just the only thing that I have that I can go out in the backyard and be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to try this, or install this, or make this, or make a video of this. So, like I said, hit that like button. Please subscribe, and things will get better. Y'all have a good day.